You know, when you play Oregon, you're well aware of their identity and the things they do well. It's never changed. They force turnovers. They mix in full court pressure with their matchup zone. They play the game at a very, very high level in terms of effort. And one of the key stats, no matter what year it is how many turnovers did your team commit? When we've turned the ball over against Oregon, it's been a very difficult game. Tonight was one of those games. Their turnovers that they force, they convert, and they take you out of it. It's not turnovers like a travel or a turnover past the ball out of bounds. This is steals and deflections and traps. And when they get going, their pace really speeds up, and they take and make their defense into offense. And 9 turnovers in the first half, that's a lot. We followed that up with 5 in the second half, which is better. But 14 for the game for us. We'll lose a lot of games with 14 turnovers. There is such a big difference between 10 turnovers and 14, especially against Oregon. So I would say that's number 1 on the list. Number 2 is, for whatever reason, first 8 minutes, first 4 minutes, and throughout, especially the first half, we took some challenged, tough threes. We had gotten away from that, and that had really served us well. But I would say at halftime, we didn't have 9 turnovers. We really had 14 because we took 5 just horrible, challenged, selfish shots. And when you take long threes early in the clock that are contested and you have 9 turnovers, you're playing with, you're really playing with a team that's going to be difficult to win on that particular night. And but I credit Oregon. Last week or 2 weeks ago, they started their season off 0-2. They've had to replace just a terrific player, Bol. They had a big lead against UCLA and they lost it. But like great programs do, they bounced back and they came in here ready. And I think Wooten being back really helps them. And they were the harder playing, better team tonight.
When you look at those selfish shots, Sean, was some of that maybe born out of the fact that other shots, easier shots, weren't falling? Or?
There's a variety of zones in our conference. I remember we played Buffalo last year. I was going through my mind. We had gone, I think, through, other than ASU, 6 weeks of zone. We didn't see maybe just a few possessions at the end of the game where a variety of zones. And, basketball people, no zones alike. So Oregon State's going to play a zone. And Oregon plays zone. They're entirely 2 different ways of playing defense, but it's zone. We've really done a good job against a lot of our recent zones that we've faced. We've moved it. We've gotten away from taking threes. We've converted some of those tough threes into drives, free throw attempts. But tonight, and again, you have to give credit, their defense is a little different. We were out of sorts, and we never could really get into a rhythm. A couple of our guys had tough night shooting. That's part of it. But tough night shooting has nothing to do with the 14 turnovers and 5 bad shots in the first half, and probably took a couple more in the second. Our shot selection, our ball movement, and our turnovers were much better in the second half than the first half. But clearly our offense was a problem here tonight. And I'll also tell you that there's been many games that we've won and had to overcome that night when the ball isn't going in. But you have to do it with great defense. Tonight our defense was good, but it's the furthest from great. We gave up 2 points on an underneath out-of-bounds play. We gave up 2 big threes. Just one of our players just lost their man. And underneath out-of-bounds, the underneath out-of-bounds, just a quick back cut. So details, you're dealing with microscopic room for error when you play offense like we did, meaning when we're on defense, we had to be super. And we just didn't have that in us either. And having said all that, free throws, we have 4 points that are still out there. You miss back-to-back front ends of a 1-and-1 when you're trying to make a comeback, and that's how the game ended up 59-54. It reminded me a lot of the Baylor game with their domination on the glass, Baylor against us, replaced by Oregon's ability to disrupt us and turn us over. So we'll learn from it. Like Oregon, we have to bounce back. We play Oregon State here on Saturday, and we haven't lost too many games in this building. We have America's #1 record. There's 350 teams that don't have our record. So when you lose, it feels funny. But it's up to us now to bounce back and see if we can be a better team and beat a very good Oregon State team here on Saturday.
Sean, is there a point where you kind of think that where's my offense going to come from, outside of Jeter maybe?
Yeah, but we've been fine. We've had, again, you can't make tough shots, you know. Steph Curry, I watched him last night. It's like a video game. But if some other, normal good players, good shooters shoot shots like that, they're not going in. And some of it is we have to create better shots. But where I'm coming from is if one of our guys is forced to take that at the very end of the shot clock, that's a function of poor offense, and he just had to do it. Most of our tough shots, especially in the first half, which I thought set the tone for the game, came early in the clock. And team basketball, thinking the game, being able to throw it inside, being able to move it, take good shots, get to the end of the clock. If you think about some of our best offensive possessions tonight, Oregon's not the type of team that's just going to give you one early. You're going to have to earn it. And those possessions happened like under 10 seconds, under 5 seconds. The ball changed sides, the ball moved. But if you, as a group, don't think like that and get to that point, it's not going to be easy to get a good one, and we just had too many of those types of possessions tonight.
How much strain on your offense does it create, Sean, when Brandon Randolph can't get going or can't get to the foul line?
Well, I think this is the first game all season that he hasn't been in double figures, and we felt that. We have to do a better job of creating shots for him. He has to do a better job of helping himself. But you know what? Once in a while, you have to credit the other team. And Oregon was able to really take him out of things.
The shot, and he got his own rebound, and that kind of typified a lot of things.
Yeah, we ended up out rebounding 39 to 35. We actually did a really good job on the offensive glass. Ryan Luther and Chase, they got 6. That's not a strength of ours, and that's probably a big reason we ended up having more rebounds than the other team. But, they committed 9 turnovers, and we committed 14, and a difference of 5 is big, especially in a game like that. But, we're not a high-powered offensive team. We have to execute. We cannot take bad shots. We have to be able to move it, be patient, and I wish we could have done a better job in that area.
You've done pretty well in that area so far this year, though, haven't you? Just moving the ball and
Yes.
playing together. Mm-hmm. Is it just something that's just a game-to-game thing?
We have a lot of new faces. I look out there sometimes. You have Ryan Luther, Chase Jeter, Brandon Williams, Brandon Randolph, and Justin Coleman. The only guy that had an opportunity to play last year against Oregon was Brandon Randolph, and he probably didn't play very much. So playing against that style, you have a lot of first-timers, and you kind of felt that out there. And maybe the next time we play him, we'll be more ready, but we're not there. We have to be able to bounce back. Losing the first of a home game here in McKale isn't something we have a lot of practice doing. But we'll respond and hopefully be better here on Saturday.
Brandon Williams looked a little bit tentative in that one possession near the end. What were you guys hoping to try to get in that there down?
Down 4. That's for the fans. That's that play where I know you're thinking about, hey, that's that last shot. But it's just in that moment, you got to do the best that you can. There are just way too many other possessions where, I could really look at, are we organized, or are we not? Did we move the ball? Did we execute? Was the shot that we took a good one? Did we really, really move it and get the best shot that we possibly could? In that situation, it's just you're playing from behind. Sometimes you try to make a quick decision. Sometimes you don't.